Oh god.
G'day, welcome to the MacPack Podcast.
We're back.
My name is Shane McCarran. To my left, this weekend, or the biggest festival goer we have on the panel. It's my little brother Joe. How are you, Joe boy?
Jake, I'm feeling fan-freaking-tastic. Tomorrow I'm going to be at Seasons. I'm going to be partying. I'm going to be doing podcast stuff. And it's going to be, I'm going to be living the fucking dream.
And to my right, coming in at 6-1 as it does each and every week, it's the baby brother of the pack. Who we call Junior Boy. Junior Boy, how are you?
Fuck, I'm excited. This is my second return to Seasons in my whole lifetime, and it's going to be even better than last year.
Bloody oath, we're involved this
Hell
year,
yeah,
which
we
we'll be
are.
chatting about off the top. I also have a fish and chip story that I know I flirted with telling last week, but you know what? The suspense will be worth it. This week, it'll be an absolute rip snorter.
Hell yes.
We also have R plates, which we are discussing this week when we asked the people of Perth, what the hell are you going to do about an R plate? And we're also chatting about Nedd Brockmann, the man who ran. Let's get into it. Boys!
Brother Mingos.
How are we all? Are we all well?
Oh, mate, this is the best week of my life.
It's a huge week. It's a massive episode. It's a massive week for the MacPack podcast. Boys,
What's happening in 24 hours, Jake?
we're at Seasons. We're at
Oh
Seasons.
my
22nd of October, the first of the 2022 Festival season.
Let's freaking go.
It's going to be an absolute rip snorter.
What can people expect from us there?
Well, we're going to be there. We're going to be doing a live podcast. We're going to be perched up, similar to how we are
Now.
RN. And then we're going to have hopefully a little couch set up
Yes.
for a couple of cuties to come up and sit on. Male cuties only.
Oh, a bit of
To
everyone.
come up and sit on.
Yep.
Well, they can sit on the laps. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah, anything that makes people comfortable. That's what we're there for.
And they're going to sit down with us. We're going to have some microphones for them to speak into, a couple of big sticks and some microphones to speak into,
Yeah.
which will be quite exciting. They can get involved. We can ask them a few questions. Joey's already yawning, so that's just really letting everyone know how excited he is about it.
And then
And then
we'll be roaming
roaming MacPack.
Roaming MacPack at Seasons Festival.
You
So if you're
didn't
at
ask,
Seasons,
and we brought it.
if you're at Seasons,
We're doing it anyway.
and
Fuck
you,
yeah.
and you see a couple of devilish, handsome-looking men running around.
Point him in our direction, and we'll chat
Point
to
him in
him.
our direction, and we'll have a yarn. If you do want to come, and if you see anyone us walking around, swing around and say g'day.
Approach with
Ah, yeah.
caution. I would just
Yes,
be
we've got some
very.
good questions for you.
We've got
for
some
your mob.
fantastic questions to ask the people of Perth, which is something that we are getting quite familiar with doing.
Fuck
And
yeah.
speaking of the people of Perth, we're being very generous this
my-
week with our giveaway.
Oh my nipple! Yes,
And
we.
Must be nice.
Courtesy of the boys Jared and Tay from the Seasons episode
Oh, yeah,
of the
true. They're the ones
podcast.
giving stuff away.
It was only 2 weeks ago. If you haven't already listened, go back and listen. They've got some genuine stories that I'm sure they're only going to add to come this summer.
Yep.
They gave us the opportunity to give away 2 tickets.
2 double passes.
2 double passes and 2 bar cards. They gave us the opportunity to give them away, and we went, you know what? We're not going to take them. We're just going to
We're going to
we're going to sell them. We're going to sell them. Oh, we're giving them away?
Yeah.
We are giving them away. Apparently, we're giving them away. Which
Yes,
is news to
good
me. The winners are.
Yes, it was a big competition. We had so many entries.
We
and-
literally had like
Yeah, it was-
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of entries.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Blown away. A lot of sifting, a lot of Excel spreadsheeting.
Yes.
Lot of notifications.
We put it in a big wheel with so many different possible outcomes.
Yeah, Riley was going to buy one of those big spinny wheels from
and do it live on the show.
from Bunnings, but the thing had like 9,000 places on it.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
hard to do.
So
So instead,
we did it online.
we all just did it online.
Bet Joe, who came off? Who came?
All
We had
right.
two winners of the two double
winners,
passes
yeah.
and $100 bar
So
cards
these winners
each.
can bring a friend of theirs,
Oh, must be
and
nice.
they'll both get VIP treatment, and they'll get $100 worth of drinks.
Hell yeah.
Which they are entitled to share with us,
Yeah.
which is exciting for
we
us.
love it.
Yeah.
We love a drink.
We love a drink.
All right. So the winners are.
Can
First.
we get drums? Good, do drums.
That's right. The segment's not finishing. We're just doing a little drum roll.
There we go.
All right. So the first winner was Tegan Finale.
Tegan finale.
I'm
I know-
not sure about the pronunciation, but that's congrats on winning. So
Go
you won
Teague.
the first double pass. So
Teagues.
you'll already know because obviously it's tomorrow and we
Then we would have
would've
reached out
messaged
to you by
already.
now.
Yep.
So thanks for being involved, Teagues. You absolute ledge.
Good on you,
And the
mate.
next one is Ella. It's either Ella K Lawson or Ella Clawson. But congrats on the win. So yeah, those are our 2 winners.
The big claw. She just grabbed
Yes.
him. She just bloody
Yes.
went up there and she grabbed him.
And I'm hoping from these lovely ladies that they
Uh-oh.
come down and show some love to the show while we're there.
Settle.
Maybe they can maybe they can come have a chat with us. Is basically what I was
Oh
saying.
yeah, we'd love that. We'd love to see
with the winners.
these absolute legends come and have a yarn. Come sit up on the pod.
Yes.
We
First,
go. What was it like? How much pain and suffering did you go through to like and tag a friend? Because that was
Yes.
and follow
and follow.
and even share your story, mate.
Share the story. Yes. Yes.
We're very
That's
excited.
that's the trick to winning.
Share on your stories.
You get those extra entries that really, it really goes the extra mile.
But yes, we'll be opening up the floodgates for people to come and sit
Run the front door as well, mate.
and chat with us. Yeah, you can't miss us. We've got the big blue tent. Other thing I was gonna mention is we'll have competitions on the day.
On the day, yes.
Oh, so the plan is, if you see
So we're
them,
giving away more stuff.
We're giving away
That's
more
right.
stuff on
Jared
the
and
day.
Taylor are giving away more stuff.
We're simply the middlemen.
But if you take a photo of the MacPack tent, we're going to have a little MacPack tent set up where we're going to be recording the podcast. Take a photo of that.
In front of it.
Put it on your Instagram story
That's it.
and just tag the.macpack.podcast, which is our Instagram.
What a coincidence. That's
our username. Throw it on there and you go in the running to win
Oh my gosh.
VIP upgrades,
Yep.
Oh my gosh,
which is basically what we've just given away.
Yeah, so this is if you're already in there, but you're a pleb, you can get upgraded to VIP.
And you can win free drinks as well. So we're basically giving away what we just gave away, but we're going to be doing it to people who've already purchased the ticket. So if you want to just quickly buy a ticket now, fair chance.
You can
if
still
you
win
take
stuff.
you can take a photo of us and our tent. You might get the same price. You might get that
Yes,
upgrade, baby. You
yes.
might get that upgrade,
Let's
which
fucking
we absolutely
go.
love. And yeah, we're just stoked to see people. So fucking come say g'day if you like us. If you don't like us, if you have no idea who we are.
Hey,
Come and
yeah. I'd be amazed if you didn't know who we were, but you were listening to the podcast.
Yeah,
that was
I would be
actually-
like, they're like, oh, these are the guys I don't know.
That's such a good point.
They told me about
That's such a
them.
good point.
Yes,
But yeah,
can't wait.
Whether
should
your
be a-
mates are there or whatever. I
should
don't
be an
know.
absolutely fantastic day. We hope to see you all there. Alrighty, boys. I flirted with telling this story last week, and I went, you know what?
I like when you flirt.
Let it marinate.
Yes,
Oh,
I know.
or
Leave the
marinate.
people, people wanting more.
And the DMs were absolutely silent as a
Said it in
result.
the intro, but then when you
Yeah.
never said it on the show, you cheeky little mongrel.
Run it back. Go back. Listen to last week's intro. I go, hey guys, I'm going to talk about a fish and chips
Chips,
story because I went
yeah.
back home last week. And you know what I did?
Didn't do it.
I fucking pranked you all. I
Yes.
fucking
Oh,
cop
yes.
that.
That's right. MacPack April Fool.
You
April
guys
Fool.
got punked. But okay, we're going to tell it now.
Yes, the anticipation has been building.
Not really. Nah. Just bring it back. Here we go.
Drum.
Okay, here we go. Boys, I went back to the humble beginnings of the MacPack podcast, back to
Yes.
Riverton.
Oh,
Okay.
Our old place of
The old stomping
living.
ground,
Yeah.
Riverton. If any of you are aware of it, lovely place. I'd happily go back. We didn't leave. We got kicked out. So
Yep.
just
Please,
a bit
if
of
you'd have us back.
context.
Restraining order.
Now there used to be a fish and chip shop. It was an absolute rip snorter of a fish
gotta
and chip
be
shop.
the goat. fish and
Also,
chips.
like 17 seconds down the road.
Brian's fish and chips. Now we used to a lot of good memories. Either walking to fish and chips when we were a little bit older,
Yes.
about 13 through to 18,
Yep.
20ish.
Yep.
It was a fair walk, even though it was a very short drive.
Yeah, it was actually it was a bit of a trundle.
5-10.
You know what? I miss.
But when you've got hot chips, 10 minutes carrying 10 chips, 10 minutes down
You
the
come
road.
back with warm chips.
You know what's really funny? You know when you're a kid and you start riding your bike places?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the classics is like you'd go to like a deli or like Woolies
Yeah.
or whatever and you want to buy like some snacks or whatever because you're like, I can do whatever I want. I could just ride down to their shops. And then you put like, this is back when we used to have the old plastic bags.
Oh yeah.
And you just like hang it off
Put it
the
on the handle,
handlebar and it
classic.
would just like
Hit your knee.
smash your knee as
Yeah.
you drive down the street.
Oh, yeah. That's fucked.
Those are the good old days.
So anyway, that's where the fish and chip shop used to be. And we used to walk down there all the time, and we used to drive down there heaps, especially Friday nights. Friday nights used to be
Fish chip.
beautiful fish and chip night.
Yes, the tradition. Yes.
I went back last week. Fortunate enough, me and Taylor went to the little foreshore down there to have fish and chips.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Which was lovely in theory. A lot of mosquitoes out. I don't like the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Topic for another time. And obviously you put in your order. Now it used to be Brian's Fish and Chip Shop, which was run by a Italian and English pair. So the man was Italian and the woman was English.
Yep.
I imagine his name was Brian.
Yep.
But it could have very well been her name.
Yep.
Okay.
You never know.
We'll never know.
I'll allow that.
And fish chips is a traditionally English food.
Yeah, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. It was cooked a very specific way. I couldn't ever match the way Brian's Fish and Chips was cooked. Could never match it.
No.
I'm not. They were never super generous with their chips, but the quality was always great.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge crumb sausage guy.
Yes, they're beautiful.
I love a crumb. I love a sausage.
A cheeky
crumb that thing.
$2.80 crumb sausage. Fuck, they're good.
Thank you for coming. Now, with all that in mind, I thought, you know what? It'd be quite nice. We'll go down to the Riverton foreshore.
Yep.
I'll grab my fish and chips from this fish and chip shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we'll perch up down there.
Gorgeous.
And we rang ahead of time. So a bit of a phone call goes through and whatnot. And I started to notice, I was like, because I've been there once or twice before since. And I don't know that either of you have, right? Because I've got a few mates that still live in the area.
Yeah.
So I'll duck down and not. But I thought I've realised that neither of you were aware of this. When I'm ordering my fish and chips, I was greeted with quite an array of options. Some of them were not traditional fish and chips items.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, so you've obviously got your fish and chips, which is like your fish, or your chips, and then a culinary range of sides. So you can get your squid rings, you can get your potato
Mushy
scallops,
peas.
your mushy, especially the English,
Orange
ones.
Jack.
Yeah, all that sort of weird shit.
Chico roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the fucked shit.
Some of the stuff that I was unfamiliar with was like your butter chickens, right? Which is something that I've never purchased from a fish and chip.
This is an option as a side.
Yeah, or as like a main. And I was like,
yeah.
wow, okay, I didn't know we were doing that.
Butter chicken, all right.
And then
With chips or
and like curry puffs and like all these sorts of
Yeah.
weird assortments of foods that I didn't traditionally see on the menu down at Brian's. I then pull up at Brian's and you can check on Google because I have since. It must have happened quite a while ago. So the old, you remember the signage?
Yeah.
Pretty iconic. I think it says like Brian's Fish and Chip Shop up the top. It definitely used to. Now it might just say fish and chips.
And it's in like the United Kingdom colorway as well.
It's in like the white, blue and red.
We're English and we're proud.
And it's big. It's way off the wall. It's a proper stand.
Yeah. You can't miss it.
Another thing you can't miss now when you get there, about 2 foot underneath it, is a big sign that says Indian Takeaway.
Interesting.
So a bit of a vibe. They're doing a bit of a culinary combination, which I didn't know was a thing. The Brian, the woman who used to be behind the bar, traditional family. They ran it for years and years and years. While we lived there. She was nowhere to be seen. The Italian man, nowhere to be seen.
Nowhere to be seen. No.
Do you remember they used to have that iconic little car? As well as like
I
a
do.
funny little hatch thing. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember.
It was like an
It
old,
had like a tiny,
olden day
almost
car.
seemed like a joke car.
It was blue.
Yeah, and it had like a.
Was it like Brian's car? It was just always
Yeah.
Yeah. It was tiny.
And it used to sit out on the road. Like, it wouldn't park in the car park. It used to be like out near where like the letterbox.
Good man. Good man.
Yeah. Anyway, and I walk in there. The whole arrangement's different. The counter's now facing the door when you walk in.
Yep.
Another good thing about fish and chip shops, this one in particular, the chain on the door when you walk in, not really required in this day and age.
It hurts as well.
The reason why you would have it is what?
To make noise.
Yeah.
But they also have the buzzer. So like when you stand on the mat, which is another thing that I reckon only fish and chip shops do. If you go to anywhere else, I've never walked into a Chinese restaurant and there's been a buzzer when you walk in.
Mm.
The same with pizza stores. Not a thing.
No buzzer. No.
Can't get away with it.
But any fish and chip shop you seem to go into, under the mat, you step on it and it goes, and you're like, oh my God.
When I was a kid, I used to jump over the mat. Fucking trick them.
And so you've got the big tiles. It looks like you're walking through like a big chain.
Yeah.
Type setup, which isn't, I don't know, it's not the most friendly, it's not the most welcoming, but I'm a veteran of the game. So I walked in, I tried to avoid the mat. I remember like always trying to overstep it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then this time I went to overstep it and I went, for old time's sake, you know what, I'm going to pull that foot back a bit. There's about 4 or 5 of us in the fish and chip shop. Oh, fucking oath.
Buzzer's still there. Good.
Oh, Buzzer's still there. Good.
Buzzer's still there. Brian's gone, but the buzzer's still there. The bloke behind the counter's now facing the opposite way. You remember how he used to face down the right-hand side like that?
Yep.
It's now facing.
Flipped.
It's now
Okay, but-
facing this way.
I got a question about that.
Yeah.
The old fish tank used
Yeah,
to
there
be
used to be
there.
a fish tank.
I did
on the left
immediately
side.
as I walked in. I've gone. Oh my god, everything looks a bit different.
Which I
Brian,
think is
Brian,
like-
you look way different.
But this
We'll
whole
get
thing-
to that in a second.
This whole thing with the fish, like, a lot of fish and chips shops do have the fish tank,
Yeah.
and like it's fucked because like you don't walk into a KFC and you see chooks running around.
No,
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
And they're
point.
also like,
It's strange.
it's also interesting because like you might go to certain restaurants and they'll have like lobster or something like that, which are
they're
literally the
live.
lobsters they're gonna cook.
Yeah,
Yep.
But
That's-
these are just normal
Yeah, this
fish.
is pet fish.
yeah, it's like a little Nemo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like you play with it.
Oh,
And then
when,
you go
when you're a kid, like
eat
you
a
like
different
knock on the
one.
window, you like,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you go home and eat its cousins.
there you
Yes.
Shit's fucking like
circle of
slightly
life, eh?
insane.
go. So I walk in, and I immediately have noticed the change in the room. Remember that long bar that they used to sit there? This is very specific for those who have never been
Yeah,
to
but-
Brian's before.
So just
But
us
it's
three.
information that's required. There used to be that long bench.
Yeah, yeah. So you could sit and wait for your chips.
Yeah, bench gone.
Oh no.
Bench is gone, unfortunately. And then at that point, I was like, where the fuck's the fish tank gone? Because now the back bench is where the fish tank used to be. I did a quick 360 of the room. TV's still there. The old fridge that I reckon's been there since before I was born. Still there.
Fuck
still in
yes.
working condition. Yep. The menu on the wall. Fish and chips menus. Iconic, hey?
Yep.
I'll get a photo of this menu. I'll go back. Great menu. And the fish tank, still there.
Oh,
But there's now tables and chairs.
Oh, in there.
Yeah,
Interesting,
which I thought
interesting.
was a little bit of a vibe. Because it was usually just a takeaway option. You
Yep.
come, you get your fish, you get your chips, you get your battered sausage and your dip.
and you're gorgeous, yeah.
And that was not the case. Now, there was a lot of people in there. There was a pair of people when I first walked in who were sitting at one of the seats.
Yep.
And it was early. It would have been like maybe 6 o'clock, right?
Yep.
And they're just having like... I walk in and the smell sort of hit me. I was like, wow, that smells nothing like fish and chips. I've just seen the Indian takeaway sign and
Okay.
gone, okay, well, that might make a bit more sense. Look over. And a dude's like eating a curry with some papadums. And I'm like, wow, Brian's really changed
changed
up
the
what's
cuisine.
going
Yeah,
on.
he's
So that's the thing, when you
expanded his horizon.
It's like if,
Yeah.
if McDonald's brought out a curry range, like they either have to, the quality of the burgers have to decrease because they're putting more time into the curries,
Yep.
or the curries are just not very good. So I wonder what has Brian done? Is he focusing on the curries, or is he focusing on the?
Well, I noticed Brian has been replaced. It's no longer Brian. It is.
Yes.
It's an Indian fellow.
yes,
And now I can see down the back, and there's an Indian man cooking up the food,
cool.
which is starting to make a bit more sense. The bloke in front of me, because I used to walk into this place fairly regularly. Yeah. Bloke in front of me ordered quite literally a butter chicken and papadums,
Yep.
Yep.
and I was like, wow, okay, interesting. The people behind me are eating what appeared to be like a green curry or something, and I was like,
Could
okay,
be sag for now. Yep.
what you call me?
That's a green curry that I like to get.
Okay, there you go. And they're eating that, and everyone else who's like sort of sitting around waiting seems to be waiting for Indian cuisine.
Yeah.
And I now,
Now you're sort of going, oh, maybe I should have got the Indian. Maybe they
yeah, well, I felt a little bit weird. I feel a bit out
getting
of,
the legacy option.
yeah, out of place. I was like, mate, who's this old guy that's eating the old stuff?
Yeah. Oh, fish and chips. Oh, we can try.
And then I've walked in there, and anyway, I've just gone, mate, I just wanted the hake and chips, brother. And you're just like, oh yeah. And I felt like a bit of an inconvenience because it appeared like they were
Oh, you got to
quite,
turn the fryer on.
yeah, it appeared like they were quite heavily just doing Indian takeaway still, and they just couldn't remove the sign up the top, and they were just like, oh fuck,
Oh, yeah.
we'll just say we'll do that, but no one will.
No one will
fucking-
really
Yeah,
come
no
in,
one will
yeah.
come in for that anymore.
What,
And
what I thought originally when you said it, and it said like big letters at the top, like fish and chips, and then it also said Indian takeaway.
yeah,
What I thought, and this is a thing that some places do now, where it'll be a restaurant, and then they'll have almost like I forget the right term for it, but it's almost like a ghost restaurant, which
okay,
exists. They don't really advertise it as that, but they make that food for Uber Eats.
oh,
So there are places that
Wow,
So
maybe
they
that's what had
essentially-
happened.
you have a burger place or whatever, you make burgers, then you also make pizzas. You sell the pizzas on Uber Eats.
Yes,
And
okay.
that way it's like a weird thing where they can like
Appear twice.
yeah. So
Yeah,
they
no,
get
that's a good
twice the
shout.
market share.
Well, that's basically what seems to happen because it's not Brian's Indian takeout. Like the Indian takeout aspect is its own entity. Anyway, I felt quite uncomfortable. I imagine it was the Indian guy that made my fish and chips. And I reckon he does a fantastic Indian cuisine
Yeah, you'll have to go back and try their
because his fish and chips was not great.
Not good,
Not going to
no.
lie. It's definitely changed from what it used to be. But hey, if I was only making one batch of fish and chips a month for the poor young white
Yeah.
fella that walked in confused and bamboozled, I wouldn't expect the culinary experience to be all that flash either. Alrighty, boys, it's time for one of our favourite segments here on the MacPack podcast. For the uni students listening along at home,
Yes.
it's time for Riley's Roundup.
Of course, it's time for Riley's Roundup. University's best. He's the rootinest, tootinest, uni shooting in the wild, wild west. That's right, boys. Obviously, as I mentioned last week, we're doing a lot of film shooting.
Yes, you have. For the first time in a while, I've actually noticed you do go to university.
Obviously, last week I told the story about me, what's the word? Pissing myself, which
Yes.
I've since faced the repercussions of from my peers.
So
So
they
they've
listen.
listened to the
One
VOD.
of them has, the director.
And what was the reaction?
Mate, you fucking pissed yourself. That's a shocker.
That is
You're
a
better than
shocker,
that.
yes.
But this whole story actually also contains him, the director.
Yes.
But we were actually helping out on a different shoot, on a different shoot. And so I got messaged many a week before the P story, and one of the boys in the third year messaged me, and he was like, "Hey mate, you had better help us out on this film shoot we're doing. It'll be taking place in Northbridge." And I was like, "Yeah, okay. What time?" And he was like, "We'll be shooting from like 4 p.m. till 10:30 p.m. on Wednesday night."
Oh, yeah. And then whereabouts in Northridge?
Middle, smack bang in the middle, like on.
Oh, but they're filming on the street?
in a back street, but yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, in the middle of Northbridge. So, Northbridge, for anyone who doesn't know, is like the place, it's like behind the central business district.
Yep.
And there's some creatures in there.
There
From time to
definitely
time.
is, yes.
Yeah, so when he messaged me that, I literally said, there's going to be some creatures there on a Wednesday night, because Wednesday night is also party night.
Yes.
It's the midweek party night for all the nightclubs and bars in the city. And I was like, all right. But I'll still come down and help out. You know, got to make the connections with the gang at the uni. I'll come down. Anyway, so we do the shoot. It's all fine and dandy. We shoot from 4 to 10 or whatever. Pack up all the equipment, ready to head home after a long day of work. And it was all raining throughout the shoot. Like, it was just a big mess around. But we got through it, and we were very happy to head home. And then, as we were walking to the car park, as we were finishing, there was myself, Dylan, and another group, Zach. And Zach was walking to his car, and he's just got a little Swifty, little
Yep.
T-swizzle. And as he was walking over to the car, we noticed a distinguished gentleman with no shirt on, very tall, probably like 6'6", leaning on Zach's little car
Oh, yes.
on the top of it. And I was like, well, this is an interesting interaction.
And
that's
this is
going to take
in like
place.
a car park? Or on the
A
street?
Wilson car
Yep.
park, yeah, right on the edge of Northbridge. And I was like, oh boy, what's happening over here? And so I heard the word fuck from the distance, and I was like, okay, something bad's happening over there. So I grabbed Dylan, and me and Dylan, we walked over there to lend a hand to Zach in case anything bad was going to happen. And so I just walked, like, me and Dylan didn't even say anything. I just walked up behind this gentleman, kept my distance, just trying to see, like, is Zach okay? And this guy turned around and saw both me and Dylan, and looked at me, and looked at Dylan, and looked at me, and looked at Dylan, and looked at me again. And he said, fuck that guy, to
You?
me. Yeah, to me. And I was like, what? I haven't even said anything. What's wrong with it? I came to, like, shake your hand, sort out the issues,
Yeah.
and see what was going on. And he was like, nah, fuck that guy. I literally still have not said anything. I was like, what's going on here? And then he starts walking toward me, and I'm like, oh my golly gosh. Oh my golly gosh, what's happening? And this is when Dylan stood in front of the gentleman and was like, hey, what's going on here? Like, we're not here to start beef. We're all here to be friends. And then he was like, no, he just really was trying to pursue me in ways that I think he had bad intentions for. And then he just kept trying to come at me, kept coming around me. And he made a few side steps to get around Dylan, and Dylan was not letting him move anywhere. Good on Dylan, thank you, Dylan. And then he just kept going and kept swearing, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is getting quite stressful, as I predicted when I messaged my friend
Yep.
and said, oh, there's going to be some creatures.
So this is what, about like 11?
10:30 p.m. Yep. And then he started to try to make a run for me, and this is when my other good friend Carmel came out of the darkness, and she stood in front of him, and she was like, hey, no, this shouldn't be happening. We're all here, we're all innocent, we all just came here to work. And then this gentleman kept trying to pursue me. Like, I reckon it went on for like solid 5 minutes of him just like not liking me for no reason. And then I started just talking to my friends. I was like, oh, out of sight, out of mind. I'll just chat to my mates. And I just kept hearing him in the corner of my ear. Just kept going out. Kept chatting. And then I was like, well, what's happening? And he started insulting my person. He started calling me names. And I was like, oh, this sucks. You know, this is not how I wanted my night to end. Anyway, and then he tried to, just kept trying to pursue me. And I was like, all right, I'll try and move down a few different cars. So I shuffled down 5 different cars, and I was hiding at the end of the car park. And then I kept hearing in the distance this gentleman was just trying to keep pursuing me.
And so at this point, why are you guys not getting in the cars and leaving?
Because he didn't offer that much of a physical threat. Like, obviously he wanted to, but his prowess didn't seem that he was in right state of body and mind to commit any damage.
Yeah, right.
And then he made a run for me.
Nice.
And this is when my dear friend Carmel, she stuck her arm out trying to protect me. But obviously he was 20 meters away. But she stuck her arm out, and he barely grazed up upon her arm, and he hit the deck. Hit the deck quite hard, flying
Took a tumble.
down. Yes, took a tumble. And at this point, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like everything. Now it's getting physical. Like I'm nervous now for this woman's health, because now she's laid hands upon him.
And he could overreact, be like, "Oh, she shoved me down."
Now he might have an issue with her, and it's like, oh, like no one wanted an issue. She's just trying to protect people. And then it was at this point that I heard 5 to 6 other distinguished gentlemen on the other side of the car park start giggling at the situation. And I look over, and I see 5 to 6 distinguished gentlemen holding things that you're not meant to be holding in public on the street, beverages and such.
Yep.
And I was
You're
like,
allowed to say beer.
and I was like, oh my,
No, it's beverages and such, Jake.
and I was like, oh my golly gosh, I hope these people don't know each other, because if they know each other,
And
now
then they've seen what's happened.
now it's like a 7v1 on the girl who's just put him down.
Because, you're not going to
Yeah,
back her
you're
up.
going to dip after that.
And it's at this point I say to the director, I'm like, mate, get me in your car and get me out of here ASAP Rocky. Anyway, so we get in the car.
What about the chick?
She is an older woman. She can handle her own. And she's also with the rest of the gang. But I know.
Pardon?
No.
You genuine. We were joking. I was joking. Were you joking?
I was also joking about you leaving her alone.
You are leaving her. Yep.
No. So I obviously was the catalyst of the fighting. So I was like,
Yep. So you have, just
So-
leave them there.
yeah, so
You started it.
no,
Yeah, fuck him.
You were giving the guy bad vibes.
no. So basically, he had an issue with me, but he was like shaking Carmel and Dylan's hand, saying like everything's okay with you guys.
Oh, so you think you were making it worse?
It was me being, my presence was making everything worse. So I was like, all right, I need to get out of this whole situation so everyone can just calm down by themselves. So then I drive off just around the corner, and it's at this point that Dylan tells me, apparently, this gentleman stood up after he heard the other gentleman laughing at him, and went over there and was like, oh, why are you laughing at me? Like, I just got put on the floor. What's going on? And these guys who we thought were also going to be friends with him,
The guy with
thus-
the beverages.
thus our enemy, were like, hey, stop messing with our friends. Our friends being me
You.
and us. And I was like, yeah, these guys are on our side now. And then they had a bit of a physical altercation.
Did you know who those blokes were? No.
Not a clue.
Strangers.
Not a single clue.
They were there
They had a bit of a
to stick up for that chick after you fucking legged it.
they had a bit of a physical altercation.
With the guy.
Yes. And it was at that point that everyone dispersed and left. But yes, stressful times.
What's the moral of the story? What?
The moral of the
The
story
moral
is
is
if you
round
get
up.
into a fight,
Get the fuck out of there.
you want the first AD
Yep,
to help you and for you to run away. And hopefully there'll be another group of guys who will fight your battles for you.
That's it.
The thing is, there's nothing wrong from running away from a fight,
Nah.
especially if it's scary and you don't want to be there. So the thing is, fighting's bad and you should run away in a Swift. Suzuki Swift.
That's it.
All right, boys. One of my favorite things about, Australian culture
Yep.
that you don't really see. I don't even know if they really have it in America and the UK and stuff. It doesn't seem like it's as big of a deal, but it's the plates. The plates when you drive.
Oh, okay, yep.
You got your L plates.
That's a good point. Do other places outside of Australia use plates on their vehicles, Riley?
I think so.
Where?
America?
Do they? I I've never seen them. I don't know
Surely
if
it
it's
would be a
just
big thing in a TV show.
Because even I remember
It's like
watching
Modern Family.
the Modern Family when like Haley gets her license. I remember watching that and I was like, but they like don't. I don't know. You never see like they're driving with like the little L plate thing.
That's a good point.
They like go in the training car, which is obviously like, it's the learning car and you can see, but they don't have.
That's a great point.
There's like the in-betweeners where he gets his license and like the driving instructor makes a move. Very classic.
Oh, right.
Very classic episode of In-Between. It's one of the 3 that I've seen.
Nice.
And yeah, you just, I don't know, I don't see the plate. So whenever I think about, the whole plate system. I'm like,
Okay, yeah. It's a good
very
shot.
Aussie thing. There's also lesser known one, the E-plate, which is if you're a bit wild, you get the E-plate. The E-plate is for if you've lost your license.
I think so, yeah.
And you're, it's like a demerit.
Yeah.
He's like, you're driving just like to and from work.
It's like emergency,
Right,
isn't it?
okay,
It's like an
yeah.
emergency license.
Yeah, actually, I don't know what it's
Favorite one I used to run with at the cinema complex that we used to work at. We had L plates for people who were just starting out. So when they were they had only been there like a couple of weeks or a couple of days, and they're learning how to use the whole candy bar system and working out what was popcorn and what was a drink. We'd put
a
like
big L plate thing.
we'd put like an A4 sign out the front, right?
Training in progress.
So that people would know. And I would abuse that system, and I'd put it out front of the. Oh, shout her out, Ali Linto. Do you remember Ali Linto?
Yeah.
Always used to target Ali, and I'd just put it at the front of her till. And man, it used to be so because she'd worked there as long as me,
Ages,
so we'd
yeah.
been there for like 5-6 years at one point, and she's got an L plate, and she can't see it because it's in front of the
It could
till.
just be like an ad for popcorn. or
Yeah,
something.
and she can't see what's on the other side, and it was right in front of the desktop screen.
Yeah.
And I remember walking past, and everyone was really nice to her, and she couldn't really fathom
God,
it. She was
having
just
a
like,
fucking great
she just
day.
thought everyone was being like a little bit condescending. And I was standing there at one point, and one guy's like,
You're doing a really good job.
"Hey, yeah, hands the tickets and stuff to her," and he just stopped, paused, goes, "You're doing a great job," and she was like, "Oh, thanks." And he goes, "No, really." You're doing a great job. And I'm like crying with laughter. And like an hour or 2 later, she worked out that she had the L plate
The L
on the
plate,
front.
yeah. Well,
Absolute moves.
Speaking of people being a little bit nicer when you've got the plates out,
Yep.
they've introduced, I don't know if it's nationwide, I think it is.
Yep.
They've introduced the R plates
Yes.
in Australia. They're a lovely blue.
They're MacPack Blue.
MacPack
S.
Blue, so we will be taking that up, to the federal courts. But yeah, the R plates, which I believe stands for recovery.
Yeah.
Yep.
And essentially what it is if you've been in an accident or if you have some, trauma about driving and you're a little bit more cautious than the average person, chuck the R plates up and then people know, oh, okay, this person might have been in a very bad car crash. So they, take it a little easy on the roads.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, I'm not going to be a dick to this person. And I think it's a lovely deal. I do get... So my car, you guys have seen my car. It's a little bit of a low rider. Yeah, pretty cool. It's quite low. The only thing about that is if I want to turn and there's
Your car doesn't match your paycheck, hey? I reckon that's like the most disparaging
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can hear Joe-
Tesla's coming, boys.
thing. Joe come to pick me up. Joe come to pick me up today from my place.
Cool.
And I was going to text him, like, let me know when you're here. And then I quickly worked out.
Oh, no.
I could hear him
Yeah,
coming
yeah,
from
it's
about
quite
three
loud,
3
yeah.
kilometers away. I went, nah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, one time we finished recording and Joe was like, all right, we got to head off from here. And within 30 seconds, just...
It's so loud. We can hear you out on the main street. We can hear you come on.
Yeah, it's good when I go to pick Kira up, don't need a text. It's just, oh, here I am.
Yeah, you
I'm
go.
always like, damn, I should
They
hear what's
know.
coming.
Yes.
But yes, because my car is so low,
Yeah.
if there's like basically any size car pulls up next to me, I can't like see the road. Say if I'm at like a T junction and I want to turn,
yeah.
Oh.
I like can't see.
Yeah.
So I basically can't go because like
They're there.
I literally, so if the car next to me is turning right and I'm turning left,
Yeah.
like it might be like clear as day and I just can't go because I'm like,
Yeah, okay.
I could get hit or whatever.
Shocker.
So I do feel
Heaven
like,
forbid.
yeah, but the R plate, I think it's a very nice idea.
Yep.
If you've been, it makes sense. Like I might have been in a, you might have been T-boned and then they're like, wondering why they're not like, like there's a little bit of a gap and we probably could have made that.
Yeah.
Maybe they made that choice once and it didn't end well.
Yeah.
And now they're like, all right, they're not going to do that. Fair enough.
And so how are the R plates? You sound like a bit of an
R
advocate.
plates. No, I
you
don't
got them
actually-
strapped. Joe's whole back window is just R plates.
Yeah, a lot of R plates. Yeah, my number plate is R. Basically a pirate car.
So what's funny about these plates is they're also not like a law or any. They're not like
No.
administrated by the government.
Oh,
it's
really?
just like
Yeah.
it's like putting a baby on board sticker on your car.
Yeah.
So it's like that. So
Which
it's
is
sick.
sort of the case because the driver is now the baby
The
on
baby
board.
on board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing about the R plates. The only thing, I think it's nice in theory.
Yep.
Mhm.
Although, can you imagine you're driving down with your R plates, you know, you're going a little bit slow, and then there's like
Couple
you know,
of
probably-
legends.
yeah, a couple of red P fighters.
Yeah.
You know? They pull up next
What?
to you. I can just imagine people using it as an
Yeah.
excuse to rip into you.
I personally,
Oh, yeah.
I reckon.
like, two,
Yeah.
come on, you fucker. Like,
Yeah, you fuck are. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I think it's a bit of an arsehole target. I reckon
Oh,
it's a bit of a
yeah.
magnet.
You think you're asking for it?
Yeah. I'm not a big fan. I think it's silly.
But it's also
That's
like
just my thoughts. I think anyone that's got them on is just drawing extra attention to themselves.
if
And
it
we
is-
live in a society where, I don't know. I feel like. Anyway,
Yep.
Facts.
Jake
that's a
is
self-edit.
showing restraint.
That is a self-filtering on the podcast.
Yeah, Jake just spoke facts. No, but also about these R plates. Like if they are well respected in the society and like by the community on the Australian roads, they could get abused. You know, like someone could who isn't necessarily returning from an accident could use it just to shelter themselves. Everyone be nice to me.
Yeah.
I personally don't
Yeah,
think
let
that's
everyone
We
know
should,
about
we
it.
should do the prank while you're serving people. You should get some and chuck on your mates.
Oh, that's good.
Car, like just like you know those.
I'm
I don't know if
gonna
they make them in the magnet ones,
I'm gonna glue it.
Oh,
but just
try
like
and
yeah,
super
fucking
glue it
love
to
it
the
on
back
there.
of it.
that's
Yeah.
actually a great shout. That's fantastic. We asked the people of Perth what they thought of the R plates literally this week. And the responses were pretty 50-50. We had 46% of people say that they rate the R plates, and we had 54% of people say that they hate the
And
R
what are the reasons?
plates. It's a great question. Very similar to some of the stuff that we've discussed already here. Easier to abuse. Basically, they're putting a bit of a target on
Yep.
their back. Olivia, I love Olivia's.
Classic.
I think we always read out Olivia's answers because they're just gems. She goes, "I'm getting one. People are mean, and I'm scared."
Not wrong. Someone took the other side of that and said easier to abuse.
Yeah, which is
Yes.
literally what I just said.
You
But
know
what?
thanks for joining us. Yeah.
You know
There you
what
go.
would be interesting? And I'm just doing a bit of a spitball here. Maybe we could do some sort of a social experiment where we can go to like an intersection or whatever and
Yep.
see if you don't have the R plate on, see how long you can wait
Oh,
before you get tooted,
wow, that's a great call.
and then do one where
you got the
when
R
you got
plate
the
on.
R plate on and see like how much you get away with it.
I like this.
Huge of
What are you guys doing on Saturday between 2 and 10?
Getting
Oh.
absolutely fucking lit.
No, I like that. That would actually be very funny. Shalise, always get her last name wrong. Shalise, that's her name?
Yeah, Charlize.
Charlize. She goes, she'd much prefer S plates for senior drivers.
Yeah, I was thinking that like a yeah.
She says she feels like a bitch honking the old ladies. I do find that I'm often behind look, I don't like being behind any car. I usually do my utmost to get around
Yep.
cars. But I am finding, especially now lately, I'll speed past the
I'm
car.
gonna get a look.
I'll go to overtake, and then I'll just fucking almost put the brakes on, look straight at them just to work out who it is that's driving.
Yeah.
And lately, a lot of old legends that can hardly see above the dash
Oh,
doing like probably 30 kilometers under the speed limit.
that's so sweet.
It's a genuine hazard for people on the road.
so sweet.
Yeah.
And so as a result, if they're doing 30 less, I'm going to do 30 more just to make that average on the road
Yep.
line up.
Yeah,
That's the rule, isn't
that
it?
is,
That's
yeah,
the
'cause
rule.
You want to keep the flow of traffic.
Yeah, exactly.
It averages out.
So R plates, yes or no?
I reckon it's nice.
You're so soft. What about you?
I'm a bit of an but play on. I'll allow it.
I'm a heavy no. I think it's...
God, you're tough.
Alrighty, boys, that brings us to the end of another episode of the MacPack Podcast. But we couldn't finish things up without doing our favourite weekly segment. It's the only weekly segment. It's time for our Everyday Hero. Now, this one goes to a man who I firmly believe will be the Australian of the year, Mr. Nedd Brockmann.
Brocco.
Now, Ned has done an incredible thing.
Yep.
He's done many incredible things across his journey, but his latest feat is arguably the greatest thing that I've ever witnessed a individual
Human.
complete.
Dude.
Nedd has run over the course of he has run from literally Cottesloe Beach in Perth across Australia in a straight line through the Nullarbor, throughout the wind, the rain, the road trains, absolutely everything. And he's gone and run all the way to Bondi Beach, which is just an incredible feat.
Bit of a jog.
He's planned, fucking oath. I think
Quite a while, yeah.
I think it comes in at how far is
Roughly
it?
4,000 kilometers.
Yeah, thereabouts 4,000. I think it's 3,700 and something kilometers.
Jesus.
Which is absolutely, it's a huge feat. It's absolutely
And
nuts.
if you think about like the high school cross country,
3,952 kilometers.
the high school cross country, which used to take it out of you, roughly 3Ks. So do that.
Do the math,
times.
yeah.
He basically
Plus.
ran for how many days did it actually work out
46
to be?
days.
46.
Yep.
47, including today.
My bad.
His plan was to run that in 40 days and be the fastest man to have ever done it. Couldn't tell you the bloke who did it originally.
Nah, madman.
No.
Fucking madman.
I think it was more of a distance thing rather than the actual journey that the other guy had done. But it is a huge feat in and of itself.
Yep.
I've obviously been following the journey since like May.
Mm-hmm.
He was on Dill and Friends podcast.
Yep.
Way back when. He's he's an incredible man. If you listen to him, he sounds like a bit of a nutter. Like he's a little bit tapped. And I think that's part of the reason that he's as good as he is
Doing
what
his
he does.
thing,
He's just he's unhinged, man. It's fantastic.
It's good.
Just absolutely dominates. I don't think anyone in their right mind can do what Nedd has sort of been able to do.
No.
He's basically had to run 100 kilometers a day.
Just 2.5 marathons.
For 40 odd days. There are obviously a fair
Every
few
day.
days where he came in overs, and there was a handful of days where he came in unders, which is why he had this little window that's pushed him back to 47. It was quite heartbreaking. I think at like day 38 he shared something, and I think it was arguably because obviously he was hearing stuff each and every day.
Yep.
Going, okay, day
This is how
38,
today went.
93 kilometers, and you're like, far out. I reckon I've ran 93 kilometers in my life,
Yeah,
let
like-
alone in a day.
like-
And no, to do that in a day is a huge feat.
Oh, yeah. But
To do that-
every day.
To do that on day 39 after you've done 100 kilometers every day prior to that is nuts.
Yeah. Fucked.
It's
Why was
actually
he doing
incredible.
it?
A marathon's 42 kilometers. He's doing 2.5 of them a day. We spoke about it a couple of weeks ago now.
Yeah. Because I remember you telling me around day 25, you were like, check this guy out. And I was like, I've never heard anything about him. And he was at like 30,000 followers on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
And now he's at like 160K. But anyway, I remember you telling me, and like my initial thought was like, oh, like that's bad for like your bones and your muscle. Like that'll ache a fair bit. And then you told me that he has tendonitis and he no longer has any Achilles. Like his Achilles are just snapped.
Oh, I think it was his knees. So his ITB in his knees went pretty early on. And then there was a few days in the mid-20s where he was running and walking because he couldn't actually straighten his legs.
Yeah.
Or he couldn't bend his legs because they were in spasm, and his arms locked up because obviously when you're running, your arms are like this. Yeah?
Contracted, yeah.
And he couldn't move his arms down because they were just like
So used to
been
being
doing that,
the
yeah,
muscle, the
bung
bicep
in
being
this spasm
contracted.
mood.
Yeah, because when you first told me, I was like, oh my God, that's really bad for his legs. And then you were like, no, it's also really bad for his arms. And, like,
I know, it's actually bad for all of it.
and then I was like, oh my God, like he's going to like, that'll like hurt so much. I don't know how he's doing that. And I was like, and then we were like, oh, yeah, he's bound to get like sick. Like, surely he's got like, he would have like a cold like this entire time. He'd have a flu. And then the end of our conversation was, he could die.
Yeah, dead set.
Like his body was like in agony. Like literally like his legs are barely. He's never gonna work the same again after this.
The trauma that he's put himself through is
He could
absolutely like exceptional. He saw so many doctors before he left, and none of them said do it, which I thought was like arguably the biggest testament to what he was doing. He didn't really care.
Yep.
His whole thing is get comfortable being uncomfortable, and I can honestly say that for 47 days, I don't reckon there's been a single second where he's felt comfortable, or anyone else who would have attempted to do what he's doing would have felt comfortable. And it's truly a huge feat. Today he finished up. This is Monday we're recording this. He finished up at Bondi Beach, and it was fantastic to see so many people down at the beach. Not going to lie, when I saw it on day 25, his goal was to raise $1 million for homeless people.
Australia.
At day 25, from memory, he was at like 300,000, and I was like, this dude, like I've been following for a long time, and I was like, this dude's really going to struggle to get there in the record because his ITBs are gone. He's in a fair bit of strife. There was a day where he only did 25 kilometers. I say only, like that in itself is fucked.
Yeah.
But just in regards to what he needed to conquer each day, and it only raised about $300,000, which again
It's a lot of money.
It's so much, but I was just so fearful that he wasn't getting enough
recognition
for what he was doing, and I just thought he was going to struggle, and I was so scared that imagine if you get to Bondi and like you did it in 50 odd days, which is still a fucking incredible feat, and you raise $800,000, but you didn't do either of the goals.
Yeah.
Be flattening. The post he shared, I think on day 38, where he was just like, "This is nuts. I've done this. There's no way I'm going to get there." But I'm not giving up until I get to fucking Bondi. So C is there when I see is there.
Yeah.
And it was like, I've never seen someone, in quotation marks, fail at what they were trying to achieve, but still be so successful, yeah, and still have the mindset to be like, this is fucking incredible. And just because I'm not doing it in the fucking incredibly lofty standards that I'd set for myself, doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. It's not, if I can't do it at that extent, I'm just going to quit.
Yep.
It's no. We've done 38 days. I'm a fucking beast. We're running this thing home. See yous all there.
And what I love about that is that obviously today is the day of recording. He did it, and me and my mates from uni were watching it on a live stream.
Yeah.
And not one single person said, "Yeah, but he didn't do it in
No.
the time he was going to." Everyone was like, "Wow, still wow."
No, it's absolutely fantastic. He's raised nearly $1.7 million as well.
Holy shit.
So
oh my God, that was at 1.3 this morning.
yeah, he's at 1.7. It's been huge
Then
because
I put some
classic Joey. Thanks for helping out, Joey. But that's been arguably the most fantastic part about this whole probably last week to 2 weeks. Basically, since we spoke about it.
Every day.
Oh man, there's a lot of people. I've been sharing Instagram stories way back, and I love how many people were sharing it. There was so many today, and I was like, this is unreal. Yeah. And the amount of money that's coming in, the amount of people that are Bondi, I was like, he's done it. He's actually done it. And it's just absolutely unfathomable what he's been able to do. Just for reference, why he did it. So he ran 50. He's a Sparky, right? So he's just like an electrician.
Yeah.
He ran 50 marathons for 50 days. Consecutive.
Jesus Christ.
And he was like, you know what? That was all right.
And that's only...
Let's do 100 kilometers for 40 days instead.
So that's 2.5 marathons a day for a month and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely nuts.
That's such a high increase of volume.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh yeah, I could do that.
And
he'd
done a bit of training, but there's only so much training you can do to run...
Yeah, because
for 47 days in a row at 100 kilometers.
You can't do like a practice run.
There's a line where it just gets you're just hurting yourself. Or you're just already damaging.
I'm intrigued to see. He will 100% win Australian of the Year. Even last week on Sportsbet, they put this thing up for like, I think it's like Australian Sports Person of the Year.
Australian athlete.
Yeah, they put it up, and he was paying $5, and I was like, Jesus Christ, gonna jump on that. Within like an hour, he's into $1.50. I'd be surprised if the market's still alive. The bloke has absolutely killed it. The last week has been fantastic, and I'm just stoked that everyone has gotten around Big Ned the Shed. You can buy his merchandise, which we've just dropped a couple $100 alone on the merchandise this afternoon. All the money's still going to Mobilise, which is fantastic to help out the homeless people, and it's just fantastic to see.
Yes, I'm sure he'll be in hospital getting surgeries done very soon.
Yeah, 100%. But I think it's just a massive testament. There's so many people who think that they can do something, or they say they're going to do something. Ned's just fucking done it, and that is exactly why he's this week's Everyday Hero. Alrighty, boys, that brings us to the end of another episode of the MacPack podcast. It's been an evening.
Yes.
It's been a huge evening.
What time is it right now?
At current time of recording, it is 11:42 p.m. on a Monday night. We've all got work in the morning, so...
How's your Monday?
And before we go, I do have a quick shout out
that
I need to give.
Here we go, champ.
Our
Oh, of course.
Yes, our cousins. Well, technically, Dad's cousins are
Our
here.
second and third cousins.
Yeah, they're here from Ireland.
Yep.
And they're probably...
The funnest people on the world.
firstly, they're crazy. They've been going
They're
out
good
more
crazy.
than...
They're good crack. Good crack.
Good crack, as they say.
That's how they say.
As they say back home.
In Ireland.
Yeah, so they've been here. They've been living it up. They've been getting absolutely...
Fucking
going out,
sauce.
hitting the town. They were
Getting absolutely going out.
Sauce, yeah. They were at Benny's. They were living it
What?
up. Yeah, they went
Benny's
to Benny's
Frito.
on Friday.
Yeah, like when all my mates. No, Saturday or Friday? I don't know, but they were young people
Friday
there
night.
and they were still.
They were going to
to
go to Frio Market.
These are the Dales that were here yesterday.
Yeah.
So how old would they be? They'd be
Oh.
in there like...
Pretty young.
Okay.
middle
No,
age.
they would be.
Middle-aged-
They're around
middle-aged
mum and
family.
dad's age.
Okay,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. Probably a bit older. I think they're older cousins. Anyway,
Swinging.
There we go.
Joe said that.
and yeah, so they went to go to Frio Markets on Friday. It was
Okay.
shut, so they ended up at Benny's. I don't know. Yeah, they were just on the D floor up the front, up with the band.
Oh,
with all
wow.
the young kids. Yeah, they're living it up. But they're some of our biggest fans from over in Ireland. So,
Yeah. Okay.
And they
I
reckon-
told them they're gonna give them a shout out on this week's episode.
Yeah,
so shout out
nice.
to Patricia and Marianne.
Fuck
Enjoy your MacPack mugs. And if you want to buy a MacPack
Here
mug,
we go. I was unaware this was
if
happening.
you want to buy a MacPack mug, they're at macpack.com.au. We've been giving away for free for family, so we do need some profits. So if you guys can head there and buy one, that'd be great.
Yeah, apparently they're big fans over wherever the fuck Ireland is. But they were like
in the UK.
talking to me out the back, and she was like, "Nah, listen," and I was like, "Because we get a few of that," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, like cheers." And she was like, "Nah, like I do,"
Podcast password.
and I was like, "No."
No, she was like,
My favorite story of yours is the one where you go to retrieve the stolen trailer. And I was
Wow.
like, that is a classic.
yeah, she was like, yeah, he's the wild one. And
Yeah.
then
The
she
first
had-
time I met her, she hugged me and she was like, "You're the wild one."
Yeah. And because they've obviously been here holidaying, so they haven't listened to the latest episode. I was like, you got to listen to it. Because after she said Riley's the wild one, I was like, you got to listen to it. He told a story about him pissing his pants. So, it's highbrow stuff. But yeah, shout out to the old fam. Great. Yeah.
Shout out
Maybe
to
we'll
them.
do an episode from Ireland one
Hey,
day.
they're all
You know,
part of the
That'd be
MacPack.
huge.
Yeah, with Conor McGregor.
Work
Yeah.
trip to
And
Ireland.
those two girls would have
They would
some
be,
stories.
yes, they'd be hilarious.
We love it. While we're on the topic of merch, we're obviously going to be at Seasons tomorrow.
Yep.
Tomorrow on day of recording. Mind you, the time that it is it Friday night yet? So yes, we're going to have merchandise available to purchase at Seasons as well. So if you want some kit and caboodle, come down there. Hopefully we sell out a fair bit of stuff. So if you do want to reserve some, get it in like today. Yeah,
Yep.
order it today.
Yes.
Um,
Cool.
Fuck yeah.
I don't think we have anything else. And we've got a double out. We did a fantastic episode.
Yep.
Whether or not you've downloaded it already. Hopefully it came out yesterday.
We'll see you
Is
at
that the plan?
Seasons. We'll see you at WA Comedy Week.
Yeah,
we'll
Dominic-
see you everywhere.
So we did a special edition episode prior to recording this one tonight, which was
Which is why this
absolutely,
one's been a bit wacky.
which is absolutely fantastic. So if you haven't already listened to that, just go have a little quick scroll on wherever you get your podcast and have a listen to that. Chatted with 3 fantastic comedians who are taking place in the WA Comedy Week.
Yep.
And that was just an absolute treat. So until we do this time next week, boys, enjoy Seasons.
Well, actually, we'll be doing an episode tomorrow at Season.
Oh yes, we're doing next week's episode is live from Seasons. Yeah, just come if you
live at the time.
if you see us in the flesh, get involved because there's a fair chance you'll feature on the podcast. If you see us roaming, we're going to be doing some roaming stuff as well. We'll probably share that as a podcast type thing.
Mhm.
I don't know, it's all up in the air, but if you do see us, come snag a day. We would absolutely love to have a yarn. Boys, until we do this time next week, stay safe, stay blessed, and always remember to
Go give your mama a hug.
it's ciao for now, button off grip.